In July of 1978, I was doing genealogical research at Sawan Ashram in Old Delhi, India. Although I was aptly forewarned that the heat in the summer was excruciating, the 90% humidity and 100-degree plus temperatures overwhelmed me. My only relief from the weather came in the evenings, but even then it was slight. On the second to last day of my stay, Jean Letard, a noted architect from Northern California, and I decided to spend some time on the roof of the ashram. He was leaving in a few days to go back to America. I was to go northward for further research on the Radhaswami tradition. The Indic sky sparkled with stars that night, and our conversation eventually turned to astronomy, the natural extension of which led to the subject of exobiology and UFOs. Jean commented, "I believe UFOs exist and that we've been visited by higher beings from other galaxies." Knowing firsthand of Jean's intelligence and perceptive observations, I probed further. "Why do you say that?" "Because I've seen them many times." His answer was nonchalant. "What were they? Strange lights in the sky like a luminous ball or a shooting star?" "Yes, but more than that. I have been contacted by extraterrestrials personally." I gulped, realizing that my dinner of dal and chapatis had not yet been fully digested. "What? Come with that again." "It was in southern France 10 years ago. I was in the countryside when I beheld them. The most beautiful being I'd ever seen radiated before me and pointed to the sky. He told me to concentrate on the brilliance above. As I became attentive, I was pulled up toward the light. However, the experience was so intense I hesitated and turned away. I've seen them on many occasions. The being was the most exquisite creature. His face, his eyes were, well, beyond description." I could not help thinking of several fanciful stories I had read before. Jean's account sounded too much like a headline in the National Enquirer, but I listened with attention and respect. Jean perceived the alien as a person of advanced spiritual capabilities, distinguishing his visitor from a technological construct. His description had a mystic ring to it, slightly detached from the cold hardware experiences I had read about happening to Mississippi fishermen and Louisiana housewives. And then, in the midst of our conversation, a remarkable thing occurred. While both of us were taking a momentary glance at the sky, a fine point of light like a star caught our attention. Jean immediately recognized it to be a UFO and predicted what would happen next. "Watch! The light will speed across the sky and will reappear on the opposite side." To my bewilderment, it did exactly that. In its next appearance, which took Jean and I a bit of tracking, he mentioned that it would most likely be joined by another of its kind, and so it was. By this time I was totally absorbed. 4 starlight lights streaked across the sky. Maneuvering in an unusual manner, they circled several times in the deep blue vault, disappeared, and came into view distinctly again. Then Jean indicated that the lights would go across the sky once more and reappear. They did. As the objects manifested, disappeared, and lighted up again in the Asian darkness, I experienced the mystery of the UFO sighting. But the question that remained was one of explanation. Satellites? Beam reflections? Too much curry?